It's Wednesday, which means it's time for another Roll for Crits Kickstarter Pickstarter. Let's see what Kickstarter has to share with us for the week of May 25th, 2020. Kemet Blood and Sand is the new edition of Kemet, the spiritual brother of Cyclades. In this game, you'll be playing as gods fighting over Egypt. You'll have troops to place on the field. You'll also be building pyramids, and these pyramids will allow you to grant powers from tiles. Now, these tiles, though, are very different. So throughout the game, you'll be gaining different powers from other players, making it more asymmetrical as the game goes on. There are also monster minis you can get, such as scorpions or phoenixes, to help you either fight or defend positions. You'll continue to fight until you control the right points in order to prove you are the strongest god. We have played the base game of Kemet. We have not played this new version or the 1.9 or 5, I can't remember the exact number, rule update version that they made. But I am a huge fan of Kemet. I know you're a big fan of Cyclades. So this is definitely one I think that the series that we enjoy a lot.
I like Kemet too, yeah. Very different games, but they're like a good double feature set.
I mean, they had a crossover pack. You could literally use pieces from each other's games.
Right. This one has looks like they updated all of the artwork, a bunch of the minis, and a big overhaul of the rules. A lot of the tiles are new, the powers are different, the combat has been tweaked a little bit.
There also seems to be some new powers. In the base game, there was the red, the white, and the blue, which had to do like an offensive, praying, and defensive. The expansion added black powers, which is a bit of a mix. But supposedly now there is a green pyramid, which I assume means green tiles as well. So we'll find out what those mean a little bit later in the week.
Intriguing.
Yes. I should mention, by the way, that this seems to be as if the old base and expansion wrapped up. So this does go up to 5 players. I believe you need the expansion and the original one to go up to 5. So that's pretty nice that they just wrap it up on one game.
Yeah, I know they have an upgrade pledge for this. So if you have the original game, you can just get new components and rules to play that with the new stuff. But looking at it, it looks like there's enough new stuff that this is worth just buying a whole new game, in my opinion, if you liked the original Kemet.
Yeah, I don't have the expansion, to be honest, because I just never got it. But when I look at it, like the board looks new and stuff, I'm like, did they come with a new board in the expansion, or is it just saying in the rules, like, just put something there to assume that can teleport or whatever the case may be? It just feels like if you don't have everything, maybe you'd be better off just getting this. If you're in my boat, if you do have the base and the expansion, then I guess take a look at that upgrade kit. Either way, the Kemet itself, we think it's a fantastic game, and if you really liked that either Egyptian theme, it's something to take a look at. Now, the one thing I'm curious about with you, Jonathan, is how do you think this stacks up? We haven't played it yet, but I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about it, is the new game from Come On Games, Ankh.
I don't know. I hope that I think Kemet is a classic. It's at this point, I think you could call it a modern classic, and Ankh looks really cool too. But I think they're different enough, even with 2 different Egyptian themes, that they could live side by side.
I don't know. I definitely, like you said, the interesting thing is Kemet. I like the old version. I've played it. And Ankh, I played Rising Sun and love that, and it's part of that sort of grouping a series. So they do seem close enough to me, though. I'm not sure I'm going to need to play this new version of Kemet as well as Ankh before I give a final, whether these 2 things can sit on a shelf together or not, or whether you're better off just buying one or the other. I mean, you can let us know in the comments down below. If you're looking for Kemet right now, you can get the base and all its new stuff for $76. If you have all the old Kemet products, you can get the upgrade kit for $28.
Bristol 1350 comes to us from Facade Games. It's the latest in their series of games named after cities and time periods that are all social deduction games that come packaged in these neat little book boxes that are magnetic, and they all are for mostly a large grouping of players. Usually they fit between 2 and 9 or so, with different themes, different mechanics. This one is all about the Black Plague. You are trying to escape a city alive without contracting the Black Plague, a topic maybe a little close to home for our current times, but interesting nonetheless. You're going to have different carts, and players can team up and get into some of these carts together. And as the game goes on, you may be able to jump in and out of certain carts or even kick people out of your cart if you think that they have the disease. And the way that works is you're going to have cards randomly dealt out at the beginning with numbers on them. And if you ever get cards so that all the numbers in your hand add up to 6 or more, then you have the plague and you have it for the rest of the game. And the wagons will be moving across a track, and these dice will be determining how and when that happens exactly. And whoever makes it out first, then you check to see if everyone on that team was healthy. If they were, that team wins. If not, then the next team tries, and anyone who got out and who was infected now is actively working against the other players. They want the plague to win. So it's a deduction game that has a little bit of a racing thing going on. You're trying to get there first. Also reminded me of an element from one of the previous games, Tortuga, which was a pirate themed, where you were on different boats and you could jump between boats and change your positions on them. Has some of that involved. Like their other games, it comes with a really nice playmat for the whole game that rolls up neatly and fits right into the box. I've enjoyed all their games so far. This style of game is a lot of fun, and this one sounds like it brings some new, interesting twists to the genre.
Jonathan, I'm kicking you out of the wagon now. I don't care if you have it or not. I just don't want you in that wagon.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. So this one, you can get the regular edition for $21. For the first time, they're also doing a deluxe edition for one of these games. For a little bit extra, it has some extra cards, like nicer components, which I think is interesting. And there are some other special character cards for this one that are Kickstarter exclusive. So if that's the kind of thing you're interested in, then take a look at it. It's called Bristol 1350.
Queen Games is taking on the popular roll and write genre with Escape Roll and Write based on their title Escape. In this game, you are going to be working together to enter and escape a temple before it collapses. Now, this is a roll and write, so you'll be rolling dice, pushing your luck, trying to get different symbols. Now, if the curse symbol comes up, they are going to be captured by the center of the board for 3 turns. After you finish rolling the dice and either giving it to the common pool or for yourself, you're going to work together to unlock gems and other special abilities. You'll be trying to do so and making sure you get it out before the temple collapses. If you haven't played the previous Escape game before, it's a very similar thing, except that's actually a timed experience with a soundtrack and God know how many Queenies expansions, I believe they call them at this point. I do have the big box, and I can't tell you how many there are and which ones I do and do not have. This roll and write, though, does sound really cool, and I like the fully cooperative aspect of it as well as that sort of central board area. It sounds a bit more interesting. And I am a big fan of the old base game of Escape, which you can get through this pledge, including the new 2.0 edition of their big box. I have the 1.0 one. It is a little interesting in the sense that I'm like, is it enough, though, to stand up from other roll and writes right now? I'm not sure unless I give it a shot, but I did like the original Escape, so I thought it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, we had fun with the original game, and I like the idea of a co-op roll and write. That's cool. I kind of wish they had brought over the real-time element of it, because I think that also could be interesting in a roll and write game.
That could be pretty hilarious. I'm just imagining the terror of like, my pen's not working. My pen's not working.
Right. That could be good.
Now, like I said, you can get almost a whole bunch of the stuff from the Escape line. But for just the roll and write, it's just $20, so not bad at all. Let us know if you're looking to get this roll and write, or are you here not for the roll and write, but for the whole big box of the original Escape.
Food Chain Island is the next button-shy wallet game, and it's also the first in their series of solo wallet games. This is from designer Scott Alms, who also did a ton of other stuff. He's worked on a lot of the Tiny Epic games, as well as Harbor, which is one we've enjoyed, and plenty of other games you've probably played at some point in time. It is all about having a series of animals in front of you, and you need to carry out the food chain and have them eat other animals in the order that you need to. What this really reminded me of in its gameplay is sort of like that peg game, if you are familiar with that, where you have a triangle board with holes in it and you have to jump one peg over another until you're left with only one. That's the idea of this game, is you're trying to jump the animals onto other animals in an order so that you're left with as few as possible. There's only, I think there's like 12 or 15, something like that at the start in a grid, and they each have numbers, and you have to have the larger numbers eat the smaller numbers, but they also have different abilities, and sometimes those are helpful to you. Sometimes they might be a little bit annoying, like if you use this animal, then your next one will have to eat an odd or an even number, or it'll have to move in a certain direction. Interesting little wrinkles like that, and every time you play, you set them up in a random order. So it seemed like a really solid concept for a solo puzzle-y experience that seemed like the kind of thing I would have a lot of fun with. Just, you could casually just take this out like a lot of their button games, but now it's perfect because it's just for one person.
If it's based on any of those peg games, I'm going to need a little scoring Carter sheet that tells me just how terrible I am in a very clear depicting words. Those peg games did not hold back how disappointed they are in you.
Yeah, well, you're in luck. They have that. You can look on the Kickstarter page. It will show you a preview of what kind of scores you may be getting. For $10, if you back this, you will get a physical copy of it. Or for a couple extra bucks, you will also get a little mini expansion that will add birds to your game. So take a look. That is Food Chain Island.
From storybrewers, we have Little Box RPGs. The idea behind their product is that instead of playing an RPG where you need to do a bunch of setup beforehand and learning the rules, you can just open the box, dump the components, and play the RPGs pretty much right away. Now, they have two different sort of styles that you can get now, whether one or both. The first one is Village Song, when you'll be playing as sort of leaders in a village, and you'll have to make decisions on how to deal with outside influences or other aspects of the village which may earn you respect or maybe make you infamous. The other one is Mundane Supernatural Life, which is actually a two-player, where one person plays as the mundane, aka human, while the other plays as the supernatural, something like a fairy, a demon, a mermaid, and you're pretty much trying to schedule your life together. Now, you could be flatmates, lovers, something like that. The idea is you're close and you're trying to help each other's lives out by trying to schedule and get your own goals, but also try to understand what the other people want. They're very interesting RPG styles, and that's what drew my attention. They're not just taking combat to a different level, whether it's in a sci-fi or fantasy. It's a bit more of thinking, one end with Village Song is more of thinking how your choices will affect an entire village. And the supernatural one is taking supernatural into a much more slice of lifestyle and just how to interact with someone else who may have very different needs.
Yeah, this one caught my attention also. I think it's a really great idea. Also, I don't know if you mentioned the fact that there is no GM either. It's purely
right.
Just you're all players together in it. And particularly the Mundane Supernatural Life one sounded really clever to me. And also, it looks like it's based on an earlier version of the game, which you can actually try out online for free. Either it's a print and play or PDF. They had it linked in the page. But I love the idea, and I hope that they would continue to, if this is successful, keep making more of these just small box little RPGs, because it's a cute and easy thing for players to enjoy.
Yeah, they seem to be optimistic about that too. They are actually numbered. So right now we only have 1 and 2, but hopefully we will see this collection grow. Now, right now you can choose one of them for around $25, or you can get both of them for around $47. So if you're interested in maybe this new Kickstarter idea that's very easy to just start right out of the box, you can check out their Kickstarter page.
We will also plug Dice Miner from Atlas Games this week. It's a dice drafting game with a 3D mountain where you're pulling dice off of the mountain. We did a full-length preview for that game. You can find that elsewhere on our channel to get in-depth thoughts on our playtime of it and see the components and all that in action. But otherwise, those are our picks for the week. A lot of interesting ones. I'm sure people are going to be looking at Kemet and also some smaller ones, if you literally, in 2 cases, very small games that you can check out. And I would recommend people too. I remember seeing that Escape Roll and Write game doesn't have much time left on it. So if you're looking at any of these you better go because the pressure's on.
Yeah, it's always fun when they do different times than what we're expecting to, but overall, all these sound like really interesting, fun picks. But let us know what you're backing this week. Are you going to get Kemet, whether it's for the whole new base game or just the upgrade kit? Or are you going to get Escape, either the actual roll and write, which is what the Kickstarter is for, or you just looking to get that big box? You can let us know in the comments down below. Until we hear from you, I'm Will.
I'm Jonathan.
And this is Roll for Crit.
We would love it if you liked and subscribed to this channel and supported us on Patreon as well.
If you choose to support us, turn to page 25.